You are trapped in a native quarter of Mozambique, with the police closing in on you, while at your feet lie two dead men, and standing beside you is a sultry girl who offers you escape.
We offer you Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure. Tonight, we escape to Mozambique in Southeast Africa, and a fantastic series of adventures, as Percival Gibbon tells it in his story of The Second Class Passenger.
That's me, Ronald A. Dawson, second-class passenger. Oh, I could have afforded first class by pinching a little here and there, but nobody back at Ralston's department store in Cedar Rapids will ever know. The important thing is they'll say Ronald Dawson in drapery is taking a cruise around the world. And then there's really very little difference in the accommodations. And the second-class passengers are every bit as interesting as the first-class crowd. Take Miss Patterson, for instance. You'd look far to find a more charming, likable, and altogether desirable young lady. Just the life of the party. We'd gotten to be quite good friends by the time our cruise put in at Mozambique. Although the competition was always stiff, I can tell you. There were times when I wished those other two, Jones and Twitchell, had missed the boat somewhere along the line.
Well, we still a good couple of hours before we sail.
I say, how about a ride in one of those native carriages, Miss Patterson, what?
Oh, do you think they'd be clean?
Well, personally, I doubt it.
Oh, really, Mr. Dawson? Well, I don't know as I'd care too much now. That wozo made me woozy.
Great stuff, Owozo. It would take a Greek to think up a drink like that.
Or to drink it.
I say, Miss Patterson, you kill me.
We might do the fort, you know. The guidebook says it's a main point of interest.
No.
Let's see, built by the Portuguese in 1640.
Oh, never mind the statistics. I dare say the fort's as dreary as the rest of this place.
Yes. Mozambique's not at all like what you'd imagine Mozambique to be like. What? Huh?
Yeah, it's a one-horse town, all right. Main street and a couple of alleys.
And so dirty. You know, you'd think they'd do something about it in this day and age.
Well, it'll be a relief to get back on board ship and have a nice hot bath.
And real American food instead of that greasy fried octopus we had for lunch at that Greek place.
Oh, yes, weren't they awful?
That's part of the broadening experience of travel, huh?
Yes, I suppose so. Like that cute idol I bought. You know, I just can't wait till I... Oh, Mr. Dawson,
Yes, Miss Patterson?
where's my idol?
Why, I thought Jones had it, or Twitchell.
Not me, old man.
Oh, no, boy. You insisted on carrying it for Miss Patterson. Don't you remember?
Oh, dear. Oh, dear, I must have left it back at the Greek restaurant. I'm so sorry.
I did so want that idol. Do you think you could go back for it, Mr. Dawson?
Well, yes, Miss Patterson, of course. That is... Though I wonder if I'll have time before the boat sails.
Oh, I'm sure you will if you hurry.
Certainly, old man. You got more than an hour yet.
Well, I rather thought
It would
I'd...
be terribly nice of you.
Yes, well, I'll go at once.
Oh, you are so kind, my dear Mr. Dawson. Now, mind you don't miss the boat.
Oh, goodness, I'll try not to. Why, chances are I'll catch up with you before you reach the landing stage.
All right. And we'll wait for you till the very last minute.
I could have throttled that supercilious Jones, insisting I had time. I knew there was time, but I had no desire to run off after a heavy bronze curio and leave Jones and Twitchell alone with Miss Patterson. She was too nice a person, and they were such dreadful bores. Yes, and I suspected them of being phonies, too. But there was no helping it now, so I made my way back up the main street toward Lazarus Restaurant, where we'd had our indigestible Greek lunch. Somehow this main street of Mozambique looked different now in the quick African twilight. The little saloons and the sidewalks were filling with men of every nationality and color, and many of them wore knives thrust through the belt of their thin white suits. Knives that looked as sharp as the glances they threw at me. And I must confess, I felt a little strange and unwanted. And then, lounging toward me in the crowd, I saw a large woman clad in a sort of burnous, but her brown face was unveiled. Her lips were painted scarlet, and from the corner of her mouth dangled a cigarette. Her eyes were heavily mascaraed, and when she looked at me, terror seized me. I was afraid she would speak to me, and I didn't know what I should do or say, but she didn't. Instead... she laughed. And the way the loiterers responded, I was convinced that they were laughing with her at me. I must say I was relieved to reach the entrance of Lazarus Restaurant.
Hey, here it is. Good evening, sir. Que la mesa. A little dinner for the gentlemen?
Well, no, thank you. You see, as a matter of fact, I just lunched here today. And very good, excellent meal. Yes, well, I left a curio here, probably under the table. Did you find it? Curio? Yes, some sort of a bronze god. It was wrapped in newspaper.
Ah, yes. We got him right here for you.
Oh, have you? Well, that's good. I'm in a hurry to get back to the boat.
Yes. You better hurry. Pretty soon she rain.
Rain? Why, there's not a cloud in the sky.
You'll see. Every night she rain in Mozambique.
Yes, well, you ought to know, but I still doubt it. Yes, well, here, buy yourself a cigar.
Aristo.
Yes.
You hurry quick before she rains.
Oh, don't worry about me. I'm not made of sugar, you know. Well, in just the few moments I had been inside the restaurant, night had fallen. That sudden nightfall of the tropics. I looked overhead and clearly saw the stars. Thinking what a bad weather forecaster that Greek was, I tucked Miss Patterson's silly bronze idol under my arm and started off for the waterfront. I hadn't gone 200 yards when a large, warm drop of rain splattered on the back of my neck and then two more on my hat. And before I could take cover under an arch, it was raining like Iowa in April. It didn't look like it would let up soon, and I wondered if there might not be a shorter way to the waterfront than the long walk down the main street and then the long way to the left along the docks. Surely one of these alleys that turned off to the left would lead me directly to the harbor and the landing stage. So I left the protection of the archway and turned into the alley at my left. 4 steps from the main street, and I was engulfed in darkness, wading through filth and mud over my ankles. But I was certain that I was on the right track, so I walked straight into a blank wall. I turned to retrace my steps, but I could see no light anywhere. I felt along the wall until it gave into another alley, followed it to another blank wall, and then into another one. Now it began to rain in earnest. I stopped, looked about me. Not a light, not a sound except the rush of rain. And then, slowly, a sickening fear flowed through me. As I realized that I was completely, hopelessly lost.
How well do you know the history of your Army? For example, do you know who is called the father of the armored force? During World War I, a young American staff officer in France watched with great interest as infantry and cavalry troops, supported by tanks, went into action. His name was Adna Chaffee. The more he watched, the more he realized how effective a well-trained armored force would be. After the war, he did everything he could to bring about the organization of such a force. And at last, in 1928, he was given the authority to organize the first experimental armored force at Camp Meade, Maryland. Although it was only experimental, it was a beginning. And in 1940, the experiment was recognized when the armored force of the United States Army was born, with Brigadier General Adna Chaffee as its first chief. Its complement of men, for the most part, was selected from the 7th Cavalry Brigade, mechanized. Its primary mission, the formation of the tactical groundwork for and the training, organizing, and directing of armored units as high as divisions and corps. Thus, another page was added to the history of your United States Army. And now, we return to the second act of Escape and tonight's story, Second Class Passenger by Percival Gibbon.
I stood alone and frightened in the tortuous back alleys of Mozambique. Alone, frightened and lost. If it was dark before, it was now black as a tomb. I struggled on through the rain. I don't know how far I walked through those foul and fetid passageways, nor for how long. But at last, feeling my way around the corner, I saw a slit of light, a horizontal flicker beckoning beneath the door. And I heard voices. I moved forward, feeling my way, hands outstretched before me. I found the door, lifted the bronze idol, and rapped it against the wet black wood. The voices stopped.
What do you want?
I've lost my way. I'm wet through, and I don't know where I am. Would you please let me in?
Yeah. Of course you may come in. You aren't exactly whom we expected, but come in. Come in.
What is that?
I beg your pardon?
That parcel you are carrying.
This. It's a curio, an idol of some sort. A friend of mine left it at a restaurant
You
just down...
are a tourist from the cruise boat?
Why, yes. Yes, that's right. How did you know?
What are you doing here so late, so wet? The boat sails soon.
Yes, I know. I was trying to take a shortcut to the landing stage, and I got lost somehow. You see, I came ashore with some friends from the second class. I left them to come back and fetch this idol.
Give the young man a chair, Yagun.
Oh, thank you. Oh, but I must go on. If you can just direct me...
You could never find your way in this rain. It will not stop for a while yet. You may as well wait here.
Well, that's awfully kind, but if...
We may be able to provide some entertainment for our second-class tourists
No, really.
As Marlene's friends arrive.
Friends? The police are not my friends.
You led them to us.
You are responsible for the police search, not I.
Please,
you
if you
have
don't...
been stupid. To kill a man for no reason.
Stupid, am I?
You use a knife, you get caught, you go to prison.
Why don't you talk with the prefect of police again?
If you could just give me
for
directions...
living a gun with work,
Down.
sometimes with jail. I have paid. Now it is your turn.
You could help us once more. Only once more. We could be out of this sewer and down the coast to Laurenzo Marquez or Cape Town.
Well, why don't you help us once more?
Yes, why?
Always you say once more, once more. Now there is no more.
You are a she-pig. A defiled and debauched daughter of
I
a...
beg your pardon, sir.
What?
That's no way to speak to a lady.
What?
I'm serious. I don't like to hear such language used to a lady. I must ask you to apologize.
You just came in out of the rain from the second class.
Don't fight with him. There's trouble enough already.
But what right does he get to come in here?
Yesterday you stabbed the Egyptian.
Ah, what of it?
Don't stab this one. You want the police to find you here with a corpse?
A corpse?
What does it matter how the police find us? We wait for them. Because we have no choice. You put them on us. We should do away with you.
Why do you lie, even to yourself? Why must you hide your own blame behind my skirts? You are not man nor beast. You are just...
Don't go on. Don't you dare say it.
There! You are just a cochon.
No one says that to me, and we got a knife.
Pig! Pig!
No, you don't.
Why, you meddling American fool. You've killed him.
Stand back, or I'll brain you with this idol.
With my own hands, I'll...
He forgot. I carry a knife.
I killed a man with this little curio, and you've killed another with your knife. 2 men murdered. I must get back to the ship.
The ship we can worry about later. First, we must get out of here. The police will arrive any minute.
Police?
Yes. Come, it is not raining so hot now.
Yes.
Quiet. It is the police. They have come for these 2. They will be on both sides of us here. Hold my hand. Stand perfectly still. I will tell you when it's safe to move. Now. They are all around us, so they won't hear us. Come, now.
Where are we going?
We are escaping. But if you know from what we are escaping, you would not care where. Hurry. Hang on to my hand and hurry. They found the bodies. Now they're after us.
Well, what will we do?
There is a door nearby. We must find it. Feel along the wall here. Farther. Farther. It must be here.
Yes, here it is.
Push it in.
It won't budge. It's bolted from inside.
You must push it in. It's the only way.
All right. Not yet.
Hit it again.
Give it.
Once more. Good, my friend, my great strong friend. Up these stairs now, quickly.
Where are we going now?
To the roof. Wait. The rain has stopped.
Yes, the stars are coming out.
Look, across the rooftops. There is your ship out in the harbor.
I must get to it.
You hear them? We're not safe yet. Over the wall to the next roof. Hurry. Now, over the next parapet.
Up you go. Are you all right?
Yes. Come up quietly.
What's that over there? A tent?
Boat, yes. You're not where the people sleep on the roofs. You must walk like a rat.
Who are they?
Who knows? If they see us, they will think you have come for the women.
But we could say that
There would be nothing to say. Someone's crawling out of the tent.
Yes, a man with a sheet wrapped around him. He's coming this way.
Yes.
Why doesn't he see us?
His eyes are clouded with sleep, perhaps.
If he sees us,
It will be too late.
well, then he won't. There. That took the fight out of him.
This is my little knife, just a prick in his right side.
No. He's still enough now. He can't harm us.
It was splendid. But only the bare hands to make an armed man.
Armed? I didn't know he was armed.
Of course. That you may always be sure. Look, there in his belt.
That dagger.
Yes. You are truly magnificent, my friend. You are a man.
And you?
Yes.
You are a wonderful woman.
I was wondering when you would kiss me. When you took offense at what the Russian said to me, I knew you would. But I wondered so soon.
Yes, I suppose I knew, too. In a way. At least I thought how much I'd like to. But I wouldn't have had the courage before all this, I suppose.
Courage. Your courage is of the lion. Your strength is of the
My
great...
boat.
What?
My boat. I mustn't miss it.
You want to go back to the second class?
Well, that's what I was trying to do when I knocked on your door. I've missed my dinner as it is.
Missed your dinner. Yes, that is so. But haven't you gained something else?
What?
Me. Look.
Oh.
Now, look at me. Is it nothing, friend, that you have saved me for yourself? You conquer men as though you were bred on the roofs of Mozambique. You fight like a hero, a rush, a blow, a tumble, and you have them lying at your feet.
I'd fight. I'd fight for you as long as there was anyone to fight.
You would. I know you would.
You lead on.
Where?
Wherever you will.
Come.
You know, I don't expect anyone to believe this. Looking back, I'm still unsure that it really happened to me. It's as though I dreamed it. I don't know how many roofs we crossed after that, a dozen, perhaps maybe 20. I don't even remember the great ship lying out in the harbor, her lights blinking with the comforts of civilization. All my senses were focused on this slim, breathtaking figure leading me across the rooftops to a shadowy destination in which only one thing was certain. She would be there. I suppose in that moment, armed only with the blood-stained bronze idol, I was invincible. At last, she led me down a creaking wooden stair that hung precariously on the sheer side of a house. And once more, we were in the mud of a gloomy alley. We made our way down the alley and out into a little square where a night breeze rustled in the palms and smelled of the sea. And across the way, a dim light showed through a big open door.
The little church of San Sebastian.
Oh.
Espera, ¿dónde va?
No, the police.
After all this?
No traten de fugir.
Che pretende você comigo?
Tem comissão de trágama, señorita.
Oh, ¿por qué eu fiz nada?
Tal vez, viéramos. Ya vamos.
Oh, capitane, eu Pepe non possível defensa.
Non este occasione, signorina, indo con la polizia.
What does he want?
He says he won't let me go.
Oh, the devil, he won't. What does he want you for?
Oh, my friend, these little policemen, they always arrest me when they get a chance. It is tiresome.
Bastante. Cale a boca. Vamos.
No!
Take your hands off her. Leave her alone.
Otras palabras, señor. Hay prisión por ti también.
Run before he can get to his feet. No, not that way. Into the church to sanctuary. My magnificent one, you fear no one. You fight for me as long as there is anyone to fight.
Yes.
Now there will always be someone to fight. They will never leave us alone.
Will they follow us in here?
These police might do anything. I know one door they will not dare follow us through.
What is that?
Come, this way. Here, this door. First, I must wrap my skirts close. Now, come cleanly through the middle. Please do not rub the walls as you come. There. We are safe for a while. They will not follow us through that door.
Why not?
It was the door of the unclean, the door of the lepers.
The door of the...
It is all right. We didn't touch the portal. Oh. See, at the far end of the alley are the lights of the waterfront.
Yes. Where do we go now?
We have a little time now to breathe the clean air of the harbor. And then I know a little cafe where we... Someone is coming. Stop walking in the shadow until they pass.
I've never seen such a rainstorm.
It certainly was something right over our
Listen.
What is it?
I wonder what's happened to good old Dawson.
Drenched, no doubt.
Oh, I do hope he's found my idol.
The idol. I must return the
No,
idol.
don't. My friend, this is the greatest danger of all.
Can't stand here and wait any longer for him.
Of course not. We will miss dinner as it is.
Goodbye.
Don't go. Don't go. Don't go.
Hello there.
Mr. Dawson.
Well, I got here before you, it appears.
Oh, did you find the idol?
Yes, but for a moment there, I was afraid I should miss the boat.
I say, old boy, well, you're a bit disheveled, what?
Yes, I got caught in the rain.
And my idol. Oh, Mr. Dawson, you got it all dirty.
Yes, it is a bit mussed. I dropped it once or twice, I fear.
Well, that was clumsy of you.
Nothing that a little soap and water won't put to rights, I dare say.
Well, we better hurry along. I'd hate to spend any more time in this dreadful place.
So should I.
Ooh, there's the whistle. That's the last warning go down. Come on, everybody.
Yes. Are you coming, Dawson? Don't stand there mooning. We'll miss the boat.
Yes, in just a moment.
I say, is there someone standing over there in the shadow of that alley?
I'm not sure. I thought for a moment...
I could have sworn that I saw you wave goodbye to someone.
Well, perhaps I did. To Mozambique, to adventure and romance.
What? Oh, I say, that's good. That's very good. Adventure. Romance. What? In this pest hole?
Mitchell, what would you say if I told you I had just killed a man, fled over the rooftops of the city, made love to a beautiful woman, fought the police, escaped through the leper's gate, and...
Heavens, Dawson, I'd said that you had the wildest imagination I'd ever heard of. Nothing like that ever happens to a second-class passenger. What?
No, I suppose you're right. Nothing like that ever happens to a second-class passenger.
Come on, Dawson. We'll miss the boat.
Escape is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald. Tonight we have presented Second Class Passenger by Percival Gibbon and adapted for radio by William N. Robeson. Featured in the cast were Parley Bear as Mr. Dawson and Georgia Ellis as Marlene, with Paul Dubove, Ben Wright, Vivi Janis, John Daner, Edgar Barrier, and Nestor Paiva. Special music arranged and conducted by Wilbur Hatch. Be with us next week at the same time when once again we offer you Escape. Suspense, which is usually heard at this hour on Thursday nights, is taking its customary summer holiday. Suspense returns to the air 4 weeks from tonight on Thursday, September 1st.
You are isolated on a remote plantation in the crawling Amazon jungle, and an immense army of ravenous ants is closing in on you. swarming in to eat you alive. A deadly black army from which there is no escape.
We offer you Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure. Tonight, we escape to the Amazon jungle and to a creeping, crawling terror, as Carl Stevenson told it in his famous story, Leiningen versus the Ants.
I first met Leiningen while performing my duties as district commissioner. As my boat neared his plantation landing, I saw him upon the riverbank, regarding me with mild interest. A great hulk of a man with bristling gray hair, bulky nose, and pale eyes. His entire appearance somehow suggested an aging and shabby eagle. He escorted me to the terrace and had a drink brought. I came quickly to the point of my visit and issued my warning. Leiningen puffed placidly at a huge cigar as he listened, and then said,
Exactly what are you trying to tell me?
I'm trying to tell you that unless they alter their course, and there's no reason why they should, they'll reach your plantation in 2 days at the latest.
Well, Commissioner, it was decent of you paddling all this way just to give me the tip. But
Tip?
You're pulling my leg, of course, when you say I've got to get out.
Now, look, I assure you, I'm not...
Commissioner, even a herd of crocodiles couldn't drive me from this plantation of mine.
Oh, you don't understand. These aren't creatures you can fight. They're an elemental force, a gigantic catastrophe. 10 miles long, 2 miles wide. Ants, nothing but ants. And each one as big as your thumb, and each of them a fiend from hell. Unless you clear out at once, there'll be nothing left of you but a skeleton, picked as clean as your own plantation will be.
I'm not going to run for it, Commissioner, just because trouble's on the way.
But it isn't trouble, it's...
And don't think I'm the kind of fathead who tries to beat off lightning with my fists either. I've got a better weapon, Commissioner. Intelligence. With me, the brain isn't just a second appendix. I know what it's there for.
Can't I make you understand the hideousness...
I think it is you who do not understand. In the 3 years I've been here, I've met and defeated more than one catastrophe. Flood and drought, a plague. Events which caused many of my neighbors to flee for their lives. No, Commissioner, all my life I've lived by one motto. The human brain needs only to become fully aware of its power to conquer even the elements.
Leiningen, your obstinacy is endangering not only your own life, but the lives of your 400 workers and their families. You don't know these ants. I tell you, you don't know these ants. But Leiningen merely sat there, puffing at his cigar and regarding me with a sardonic grin. And I knew it was hopeless. As I boarded my launch and cast off, I turned to look once more at this man who calmly intended to defy one of the world's greatest scourges. I felt a sudden resentment toward him, and yet, with it was something else. I had never met a man like that, and I couldn't help wondering what combination of elements made up such a creature.
I stood on the bank of the river watching the commissioner's launch until it rounded a bend and was lost to sight. There was a strange look in the commissioner's eyes as he stood on deck staring back at me. Clearly, he thought me, at the very least, unreasonable. Well, he wouldn't have been the first to think so. But I, Leiningen, knew my own powers. I was sure of myself. I knew that intelligence, directed right, always makes man the master of his fate. That night, I called my Indian workers together in front of the plantation house. I saw their faces go ashen with terror as I told them the ants were coming. Watched them as they milled around, muttering. I said nothing more to them. Finally, one of the men stepped forward, Blas, the foreman.
Patron, we have worked hard here for these 3 years, all of us. We have built the finest plantation in this district. We all share in it. It has been a home for all of us and our families. Now the ants come.
So?
Those ditches we dug last year, the pipe we put in the ground, that was for the ants?
That was for the ants.
If we moved our families across the river, the ants could not reach them.
That's right. And you?
The ants are mighty. We know what they can do. All of us think that you are mighty.
Yes, Patron.
Patron, we will stay and fight against the ants with you.
I knew the men would give me that answer. I'd counted on it. Suddenly, I thought of the commissioner and wondered what he'd say at such unquestioning confidence. Would he still think I was, unreasonable?
All that night, I could not get Leiningen out of my mind. One man who calmly evaluated his chances against a deadly menace, coolly decided that he could win, and was willing to stake his life on it, to risk a horrible death for it. It was terrifying, and yet it was fascinating. When dawn came, I sent for my assistant. Together we went to the huge map of the district which hung from a wall of my office.
The last reported position of the ants came in last night. They were, here, about 70 miles above this fork in the river.
Traveling southeast?
Yes, sir.
Directly toward Leiningen.
Toward whom, sir?
Oh, that plantation at the bend in the river. Belongs to a man named Leiningen.
Oh.
When would you say the ants will reach there?
Why, I don't know, sir. I imagine about tomorrow noon.
Tomorrow noon, huh? Still time.
Still time? What do you mean, sir?
Oh, nothing. Never mind. What did I mean? Still time for what? For Leiningen to flee, or still time for me to... Even as I rejected the thought with horror, I knew that the fascination of that man was more than I could resist. That Leiningen's fight was drawing my mind, drawing me back toward that plantation and death. I knew past all doubt that I was going back to Leiningen's plantation. I had to. It was 10 o'clock in the morning when I rounded the bend and saw Leiningen's plantation before me. I put in at the dock and tied up the launch, and then I saw him standing on the bank above me. Arms folded, stubby cigar in his mouth, and that same sardonic grin on his face. I made my way up to him.
Back for another warning, Commissioner?
No.
Oh, back to stay a while?
Yes.
Ah.
You don't seem very surprised.
I'm not.
You expected me?
I knew you'd be back. Come along, we'll get some horses. You'll want to ride around the plantation and take a look at the defenses I've rigged up.
Yes. I'll want to see the defenses.
And the ants. We'll be getting a glimpse of them before long, I should think.
Yes, and the ants.
Come along, then.
The defenses Leiningen had devised were quite impressive. Surrounding three sides of the plantation like a huge horseshoe was a ditch 12 feet wide. The ends of this horseshoe-shaped ditch ran into the river, which formed the fourth side of the plantation. And at the upriver entrance to the ditch, Leiningen had constructed a dam by which river water could be diverted into the ditch. A large handwheel controlled the floodgate of the dam, and apparently Leiningen had ordered it opened immediately after my arrival. For as we now approached the ditch and rode along it, I could see that it was nearly full.
Well, how do you like my first line of defense, Commissioner?
Well, it's reassuring. Like a moat around a castle.
Unless the ants know how to build rafts, they won't reach the plantation. But this is only the outer moat. There's a better one than this. Come along. We'll go up to the high ground where the buildings are. We can get a view from there.
Leiningen!
Huh?
I didn't see any women or children around the plantation, or any animals.
That's right. Moved them across the river.
Oh, and you think there is danger?
Oh, not because of danger, Commissioner. A matter of efficiency.
Efficiency?
Cuts down the efficiency of the men if they're worried about their families. Critical situations only become crises when oxen or women get excited.
I might have known.
Huh?
Nothing.
Here we are. See the ditch?
It's much smaller than the other.
You've noticed how all the buildings are on this piece of high ground. This inner ditch surrounds them, and it's lined with concrete.
But even filled with water, this is no barrier. It's not big enough. Why, if the ants get this far,
they'll get no farther. This ditch wasn't built for water, Commissioner. See the pipes leading into it? See those storage tanks on the hill? Petrol. We can throw up a wall of flame. You care to bet they won't like that?
Leiningen, look! Over the edge of the jungle, all those animals.
Running like the wind, everything from jaguars to monkeys.
Good heavens.
Remember, they don't have any ditches.
And there's no escape.
They'll be all right as long as they don't get caught between the river and the ants. They can outrun the crawlers. But if they get trapped, it's either the ants or the crocodiles. Look over there on the horizon. There are your ants. Look at them.
It was a sight I'll never forget. Over the range of hills, as far as I could see, crept a darkening hem, ever longer and broader, until the shadows spread across the entire slope and then downward, uncannily swift. And all the green herbage on the entire slope was being mown as by a giant sickle, leaving only the vast moving shadow extending, deepening, and always moving nearer.
Oh, they're a hideous lot.
Leiningen, we can't last against that. Look at them. Why, they could fill your ditches with their corpses and still have enough to destroy every one of us. We've got to run.
Well, No, they haven't reached us yet, and they never will.
The hostile army was approaching in perfect formation. No human battalions, however well drilled, could ever hope to rival the precision of that advance. Along a front that moved forward as uniformly as a straight line, the ants drew nearer and nearer to the water ditch. As they approached, two outlying wings of the army detached themselves from the main body and started marching along the sides of the ditch, no doubt expecting at some point to find a crossing. And during this hour-long flanking movement, the main army remained still. Across the scant 12 feet of ditch, I stared at them. And they stared back at me. A solid mass, every one as big as my thumb, with a reddish-black body and long legs. Suddenly, a sound so unearthly as to freeze our blood jerked our heads in the direction of the jungle on the far side of the ditch. Coming toward the ditch at a stumbling gallop was a singular being, a writhing, animal-like, blackened statue with a shapeless head and 4 quivering feet. It was a stag, covered over and over with ants. Leiningen threw up his rifle, and the stag fell lifeless to the ground, its agonies at an end. Horrified as I was, my curiosity impelled me to glance at my watch. I had to know how long the ants would take. After 6 minutes, only the white, polished bones of the stag remained. Now I could see a change in Leiningen. Gone was the sporting zest of the novel contest. In its place was a cold, violent purpose to send these vermin back to the hell where they belonged. If he did not, we were both only too sure of the alternative. And now we even knew how long it would take the ants once they got to us. Around 4 in the afternoon, the ant scouts, having found no crossing, there was a stirring among the main army. And then an immense flood of ants, about 100 yards in width, commenced pouring in a glimmering black cataract down the far slope into the water-filled ditch. Thousands drowned instantly, but the rest began using the bodies as bridges. Leiningen immediately swung into action.
Tanayo! Get to the dam. Open the floodgate more to get the water in the ditch moving faster.
Si, senor.
Oh, look at them drown by the thousands.
Yes, but they keep coming. Even though the current carries many of them away, they're advancing.
We'll fix them. Blas!
Senor.
How about those shovels and petrol sprinklers? Have you passed them out to the men?
It has been done.
Then get all hands here in a hurry. This looks like the spot for action. Commissioner.
Yes?
Beginning to see what I was talking about?
What do you mean?
About intelligence being more than a match for anything it tackles. Take the ants. They've got no intelligence. If they had, they'd have attacked along the whole length of the ditch instead of a narrow front like this. They'd have been across by now. Too bad for them I'm not running their campaign.
You can joke about it like that with the ants halfway across the ditch?
All right, men. Busy with the shovels now. Dump some sand and clods on them. See how they like that. And you with the petrol sprinklers, start pumping. They don't like it, Commissioner. They don't like it a bit. Look at them.
Yes, but look at the ones on the far side of the ditch. Whole clumps of them rolling into the water. The rest are using them for bridges.
What's keeping Tanayo? He should be at the dam by now.
They're getting across. More of them.
Oh, grab a shovel then, Commissioner. Make him regret it. What's the matter?
They rolled up my shovel. They're on my arm.
Into the petrol, idiot. Douse your paws in the petrol. Keep at it. Keep at it. You're lost if you stop now. The water's moving faster.
Tanayo got the floodgates open.
Yes. Look at the ants. They can't hold their own against the current now. They're being washed away. Look at them, Commissioner. The water's carrying them away. We've beat them. We've won out.
It was true. Leiningen had won the opening round. The floodgates were left open to forestall any night crossing. When dawn came, the dark blanket was still there, motionless across the ditch. Then we noticed the feverish activity on the other side of the plantation. Here, a grove of tamarind trees lined the far end of the ditch, and every tree swarmed with the crawling insects. But instead of eating the leaves, they were merely gnawing through the stems, so that a thick green shower fell steadily to the ground.
Glass, have all the petrol pumps brought. Get everyone over here except the lookouts on the other side, then pass out the shovels.
Si, senor.
Looks like I underestimated them when I said they didn't have intelligence.
What do you mean?
I said if they wanted to get across, they'd have to have rafts. And that's just what they've got. Those leaves are their rafts.
Even as he spoke, the leaves went tumbling down the far bank by the thousands. The current drew them away from the bank, and each leaf was crawling with ants.
Don't worry, Commissioner. I've still got a trick up my sleeve for 'em.
The water!
The ditch is drying up.
Of course it's drying up. That's the plan. Those are the orders I sent to the dam.
Are you mad? As soon as it's empty, what's to prevent the ants from... Look, the water's way down. It's almost dry. They'll be able to come across the bottom.
They'll not make it if the man at the dam carries out his orders. He should have opened the gates again by now.
To flood the ants?
Right.
Well, what a chance to take. If anything should happen, don't you...
Here it comes. Here comes the water. Now we'll give the crawlers in the ditch a good ride out into the river. There. Look at them go.
Leiningen's tactics were successful. At first, the violent flow of water at the original depth raced through the ditch, overwhelming leaves and ants and sweeping them along. 3 times the ditch was emptied. 3 times the ants raced across its bottom. And 3 times the rushing water, arriving just in time, carried them away. But the 4th time, as the level dropped nearly to the bottom of the ditch, we waited in vain for the rushing waters, and then...
Senor!
What's the matter? What's gone wrong at the dam?
The ants, senor. Just as the man at the dam lowered the water almost to the bottom, the ants attacked. Before he could open the floodgate, he was almost surrounded. He ran. The ants kept coming. They are across the ditch, senor.
Leiningen stood, motionless, absorbing the news of his defeat without a word. Then, simply, he raised his pistol and fired 3 shots into the air. The prearranged signal for all men to retreat, instantly to the second line of defense. The concrete ditch is more than a mile from the point of invasion. Soon after we arrived there, the natives commenced straggling in, silently. Leiningen waited until all of them had gathered. Then he spoke to them.
Well, lads, we won the first round and lost the second. But we'll smash the crawlers yet. Anyone who thinks otherwise can draw his pay and push off. There are rafts enough on the river and plenty of time still to reach them.
I stay, patron.
You stay then?
I see, senor.
Good. Thank you, lads. And you, Commissioner?
I, can't persuade you to give up the fight, huh?
You cannot.
Then I stay, too.
I knew you would.
Senor, a few of the ants have reached the ditch.
They're trying to get across?
No.
I didn't think they would. There's plenty of food over there for them. My fields, my orchards, my work of 3 years. Ought to last them until morning, anyway.
Yes, we were safe for the moment. But the next morning, the black swarm was solid around us. Their shock troops were hard at work. They were dropping shreds of bark and twigs and leaves into the petrol-filled ditches, forming a floating bridge across the surface of the liquid. Leiningen stood silently watching this operation, and I could see a grudging admiration in his face. Then, after several hours, the attack came. Down the ditch they poured, millions of them, and across the bridge of twigs, rapidly approached the inner side. Leiningen sat motionless, watching them. Leiningen, for the love of God, don't sit there like a statue. They'll be on us in a moment.
Let them fill the ditch first. Now, all right, everyone back from the ditch. Blas, hand me the torch. Our friends like a little heat around them.
The flames from the ditch shot into the air, devouring ants by the millions. It was some time before the petrol burned down to the bed of the ditch. And when it did, the devils came back for more. Again and again, Leiningen fired the ditch to destroy them. But as they returned to the assault time after time, a slow, sickening horror crept into my mind. I looked quickly at Leiningen and then at the petrol tanks. He read my gaze, nodded slowly.
That's right, Commissioner. We could hold them off forever if our supply of petrol was unlimited, but it isn't. We've only got enough to fill the ditch once more.
Leiningen, isn't there a way? Any way at all?
There must be. Yes, there must be a way. Yes.
What is it?
We'll flood the whole plantation.
Flood? But how?
The river's higher than any point except this high ground we're on now. If the river was dammed all the way, it'd overflow that stone breakwater and flood the whole plantation. We've got to close the floodgate at the dam. That'll do it.
You're mad. The dam is more than a mile away, a mile of ants. It's impossible. You'll never get there, let alone get back.
That's where you're wrong, Commissioner. I'll get there and I'll get back. Ha! Ha! Take care of things while I'm gone, eh?
I watched him as he calmly pulled on high leather boots, drew gauntlets over his hands, and stuffed the spaces between breeches and boots, gauntlets and arms, with petrol-soaked rags. He shielded his eyes with close-fitting mosquito goggles and plugged his nostrils and ears with cotton. Then the natives drenched his clothes with petrol. Blas, who acted as doctor to the men, smeared a salve over him. And finally, Leiningen was ready. And he stood surveying the course he must take to the dam. I sensed a sudden calm.
As I stood near the ditch ready for the run, I realized this was as it should be. I, Leiningen, would meet the ants and defeat them, or be defeated by them. Ha! Leiningen versus the ants. Yes, it was right that it should be like this. But now there was no more time for thought, only action. I took a deep breath, and then bounded across the ditch and among the ants. I ran in long, equal strides with one thought, one sensation in my being. I must get through. I dodged all trees and shrubs. Except for the split seconds my soles touched the ground, the ants would have no opportunity to light on me. I ran on. I was halfway to the dam before I felt ants under my clothes and a few on my face. I struck at them mechanically, scarcely conscious of their bites. The dam drew toward me slowly. The distance grew less. Less. Finally, only 100 yards away. 50. Then I was there. I gripped the ant-covered wheel, but hardly had I seized it when a horde of ants flowed over my hands and arms. I strained, but slowly the wheel turned more. Floodgate was swinging slowly shut, and then it was shut. And the water was rising behind the breakwater, closer to the top. Closer. Then it was spilling over. The flooding of the plantation had begun. I let go of the wheel. Started back through the ants. For the first time I realized I was coated from head to foot with the fumes. Tongues of fire stabbed me as they bit into my flesh. I almost lost my head with the pain as I ran, knocking ants from my body, brushing them from my bloody face, and then one bit me just below the rim of my goggles. Managed to tear it away, but the agony of the bite and its venom drilled into the eye nerves. I saw now through circles of fire into a milky mist. I was almost blinded, but I knew that if I tripped and fell, I ran on, my heart pounding as if it would burst. blood roaring in my ears, a giant's fist battering my lungs. Then I could see dimly that wall of flame at the ditch. Oh, but it was too far away. I couldn't last half that distance. I stumbled. I fell. Felt myself being swarmed over, devoured. Tried to rise. A great weight. Then suddenly the vision of the half-devoured stag in my brain. 6 minutes, then nothing but bones. I couldn't let that happen to me. I couldn't die like that. To my feet. My feet. I dragged myself forward. Toward the flame. The ditch. Ring of flame. Closer now. Only a little farther. 10 steps. 8. 5.
It seemed we had waited for hours, when all at once, through the blazing ring around us, an apparition hurtled and fell full length on the ground. It was Leiningen, alive with ants, unconscious with glazing eyes and lacerated face. We rushed to him, stripped off his clothes, and tore at the ants that covered him. His body seemed almost one open wound. In one place, I could see a white bone. Later, as the curtain of flame lowered, I looked out where that blanket of ants had been and saw only a vast expanse of water covering the entire plantation and working its way to within a few feet of the concrete ditch. The ants were gone, drowned, and Leiningen had won. He lay on his bed, his body swathed from head to foot with bandages, but alive and still in command.
Everything in order?
Everything's in order.
I told you I'd come back. Even if I am a bit streamlined.
He grinned, shut his eyes. He slept.
Escape was directed this week by Richard Sandville, and tonight brought you Leiningen versus the Ants by Carl Stevenson, adapted for radio by Robert Reif, with Tudor Owen as Leiningen and Gerald Moore as the Commissioner. Music conducted by Wilbur Hatch. Next week,
you are standing at the doorway of the cabin on Cashier Creek. Up on the ridge, the bloodhounds have caught your scent. And between you and a fortune, between you and escape, yawn the white jaws of a deadly snake, a cottonmouth moccasin.
Next week, we escape with Irvin S. Cobb's ironic story, Snake Doctor. Be with us next week at this same time when once again we offer you Escape. Ethelbert, Ann, and Casey will be along in a few moments with tonight's crime photographer drama entitled Sellout. All year long, Casey, crime photographer, has been one of radio's top rating shows. You're sure to enjoy the proceedings coming up over most of these same CBS stations. Tip Corning speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.